Last Wednesday, Deadlock Night Shift number 24 took place, and we saw some of the most peak matches in pro Deadlock history. But one of the matches I want to focus on specifically is the EU Challenger match between the new and improved Loki W and the number 2 team in Europe, Leviathan, where at one point in the game, Loki W were down 18k souls. Loki W then played a masterclass to make up that soul deficit with some of the most high tier gameplay I've ever seen, as well as some of the most generational throws from Leviathan. I'm going to talk about how Leviathan was able to get that huge soul advantage in the early game, and how moments later it all came crashing down. First, we will start with the draft. Leviathan decides to ban Shiv Mina and draft Abrams, Paradox, Pocket, Mo, Bebop, and Wraith. This team column is very centered on the early to mid game, and it wants to get ahead in the early to mid game and continue that lead for as long as possible, while the Wraith and Pocket get fed to carry the late game. And they do this with their insane pick potential. Bebop and Paradox have insane catch on enemy heroes, can pull anyone into their entire team, and Mo and Abrams are there to lock them down, so it is a free kill, which basically gives you player advantage in team fights, which makes things like getting Urn and getting objectives a lot easier. Loki W ban Yamato and Rem, and they draft Silver, Billy, Page, Geist, Holiday, and Grey Talon. This team is very frontline heavy with the Silver, Billy, and Geist, and you have the Page, Holiday, and Grey Talon to support the frontline with stuns, damage, barrier, owl, the snare, healing, and holiday lasso. Along with your main form of damage being the Geist, who will be able to brawl alongside the front line with her insane amount of damage and survivability. This team wants to be brawling as much as they possibly can. And this team is a lot better in the late mid game to late game. The only issue is if they can make it to the late game or not. Drafts are one of the most interesting parts of Deadlock, so if you'd like me to do a full video explaining how drafts work and the best kind of drafts, let me know. Loki W decided to run Holiday, Grey Talon on the right lane, Billy Page mid lane, and Silver Geist left lane. Page is able to support the Billy, giving him shield and able to use the root, so Billy can be the aggressive and have a safety net. GT and Holiday do a lot of burst damage, they're able to do a lot of poke damage from far with barrels and the arrow. And Geist is able to support Silver, who has a very bad laning phase until she gets her wolf form. This is also the old patch, so laning has changed a little bit for Silver. Leviathan decided to run Mo, Wraith left lane, which is a very common lane with pro teams. Mo's able to support the Wraith in her bad lane, and once they both get their ults online, it's basically a free kill. They decide to put Abrams, Bebop in the mid lane. Putting Bebop mid lane means he can gank both of the side lanes very fast, and the Abrams is able to deal with a lot of pressure of handling it one-man lane because he's very tanky. And Paradox, Pocket right lane, just another bursty high lane. So let's start with the early game. Instantly, we see Silver and Geist start being very aggressive, taking that high ground on the bridge, and they start shoving wave after wave because they had a better wave player with the Geist. And we see something really funny. While this is all going on, Leviathan swap mid lane and side lane. Loki W decided to match that swap. Then a little while later, Leviathan decided to swap again, bringing the Bebop and the Abrams back to the mid lane. And Loki W decided to match that swap again. Only 2 moments later, Leviathan swapped lanes for a third time, and Loki W decided to just take the worst match. The reason why Leviathan decided to swap so much is because Abrams' Bebop sucks into Page. Page is just able to barrier, and Bebop and Abrams not do enough damage to break that barrier. So they just trade horribly into Page. And Bebop counters Grey Talon, so they want to get into that Grey Talon lane. But Loki W know that, so they just keep trading and trading and trading until they just get fed up and just continue to just let the trade happen. While this 3-minute back and forth of lane swapping has been happening, Silver and Geist have been putting so much pressure on the left lane tower, so Pocket goes over for a gank just in time to save the Mo, who is on a sliver of health. And they're able to both then kill the Silver and the Geist. Mo goes back to spawn and takes over the mid lane at Pocket's place, up until the 5-minute mark where the mid buffs spawn. Instantly, we see both teams try and fight for the right side buff. However, Abrams gets picked off on the way there, so the buff goes to Loki W. Paradox and Silver fight for the left side buff. Paradox gets the buff, and Silver gets too low and has to go back to spawn. While this fight is happening, Wraith and Paradox use the opportunity to almost kill Geist, forcing her to go back to spawn, which gives Leviathan a little bit of a lead. A few minutes later, we see a fight break out on the right lane with both Holiday and Bebop falling. Then the Abrams comes in and kills the Grey Talon, giving them a trade, which is another slight win for Leviathan, putting them ahead 2k. Geist and Page take Left Guardian, and while this is happening, we see a 3-man stack dive the mid lane, getting a pick on Silver and the Holiday. However, Page is able to defend the tower. Another minute later, a fight starts by the Bebop hooking in the Grey Talon. While this is happening, we see Wraith and Pocket pick off the Geist, and she drops a 800 bag, which now puts Leviathan ahead by 5k. The fight on the right lane continues as both Abrams and Bebop drop, with a few ultimates being used, as well as the right Guardian being taken. As that fight finishes up, we see a big 3-stack in the mid lane, getting ready to take that mid guardian. Paradox swaps into Page, who is low health, and Mo is able to finish the kill. Holiday comes in as backup and instantly gets molted, giving them another kill, which gives them the mid guardian. The silver is there, but is not able to do really much as the entire team just kites away, which now gives Leviathan an even bigger lead, giving them a 6k soul lead. As the fight dies down, Abrams picks up the urn, and they're going to try and dunk it in, which will give them an even bigger lead. While the teams are setting up for the urn fight, Page gets caught in mid lane by the Paradox of Pocket, getting swapped, which is a free pick. Billy and Silver both push the Abrams, with an owl following after. They get the Abrams to drop the urn, and is now in the possession of Loki W. While this is happening, Silver barely gets a kill on the Paradox. Right as Loki W are about to turn in the urn, Pocket comes in on the flank and is able to get the urn off Holiday. Pocket tries to turn in the urn, but gets denied by Grey Talon, who then soon gets bursted down and is forced to back off, while Holiday tries to punish the Pocket for overextending, but barely doesn't get the kill and dies. As this is happening, Mo ults the Billy, and the Abrams and Bebop jump him, giving them another pick. After killing the Billy, the three jump the Grey Talon, who's having trouble finding a way out. Mo has the urn and is about to turn it in, but gets denied by the Page and Silver, and the rest of the Leviathan jump in, killing them both, and secure the urn, which now gives them a 14k lead, with the kills being 15-5 in favor of the Leviathan. Leviathan play the lead they have built and farm for a few minutes. We then see a little group up mid with the Bebop and the Pocket. Holiday lands a lasso on the Bebop, bringing him under the walker. Billy then uses chain gang to pull him back in, giving him a pick. Pocket realizes this is a losing fight, so they try to escape. But Pocket gets chased down and picked off, while Mo and Paradox try and get there to trade the half-health Billy. Mo gets him in the ult, and Paradox swap him to keep Billy stuck in the blender. Page is able to support the Billy with her barriers, giving him just enough HP to survive. Realizing they can't kill Billy, Mo and Paradox back off, but Mo gets caught by the Silver, giving Loki W another kill, which only puts them at a 10 to 11k soul difference. With Urn now respawning, we see Loki W gather around the urn, trying to get an instant possession of the comeback urn. Leviathan don't want this, so they gather around as well to try and fight it. The GT is barely able to grab the urn and make it out. While this fight is going on, Wraith and Paradox take the left walker. While GT is running the urn, Leviathan try and fight under the right walker, getting a massive hook on the Silver, giving them a soul advantage of 18k. However, Loki W turned in the urn, bringing the difference back down to 12k. Leviathan try and take the right walker, but all of a sudden, Loki W jumped the Abrams and the Mo, giving them 2 picks. With this man advantage, they decide to take the mid guardian. Paradox gets jumped and falls, giving them now a 3-man advantage. Leviathan at this point are just trying to get back and get to safety, but they are able to get Holiday on the way out, with Bebop falling shortly after. Now the lead only being 3k, Leviathan groups up and decides they want to try and force a mid fight. We see Paradox swap to Page with an Affliction following shortly after, guaranteeing the kill, with Leviathan up 1. They decide to make the decision that ultimately is the turning point of the game. They decide to go for mid-boss, which is not a very good decision right now. Loki W have ult advantage. They have Changying, Lasso, and Owl, which are some of the best ults for fighting for mid-boss, and all of their ults provide some sort of CC. Leviathan only have Abrams ult, which is good for mid-boss, but you have Holiday Lasso, which is able to grab Abrams while in the air. They don't have Affliction either, which is a really good mid-boss ult, doing insane amounts of damage. Realizing this, they decide to fake mid-boss and fight Loki W head-on, because they still have player advantage. As Leviathan is leaving the mid-pit, they get absolutely jumped by Billy and Silver, starting the engage on the Bebop. Pocket and Mo try and support. Billy pops Chain Gang. Holiday throws Lasso, but it misses. Silver gets in wolf form and starts running them down. As they are trying to escape, GT throws a bird, stunning 2, which helps kill both Paradox and Wraith. Loki W decide to take mid-boss for themselves. We see one last try and one last ditch effort to try and steal mid-boss from Abrams and the Pocket, who both end up falling, giving Loki W all 3 rejuice, which now puts him in the lead by 3k souls. Loki W were able to pull ahead by 10k by getting another urn and winning another team fight, which brings us to the major deciding fight in the match, which is ultimately the nail in the coffin for Leviathan's built-up momentum. With both teams grouped up mid and mid-boss up, Holiday starts up a fight by lassoing Paradox, but it gets counterspelled. GT tries the bird to catch them, but it misses. Paradox hits a swap onto the Silver. We still get a low health, but Page ult comes, with a Billy ult following soon after. Mo Flanks gets a combo, but has no follow-up, so he gets picked off first. Chinging is popped, Wraith ult, Pocket Afflictions, while Abrams is barely doesn't kill the Silver. The team starts to back off. We try to see a re-engage from the Holiday, but gets shortly stopped by the Abrams using his ult, making it a 5v5. Leviathan decide to make the pro gamer move of baiting mid-boss again. This time they decide to play it a lot safer. They get an early pick on the Page, catching her off guard. Shortly after, Abrams gets caught and falls. They're able to trade him out with the Billy, but Bebop gets picked off by the Geist. We're having a big fight going on under the bridge. Pugga gets picked off. Mo ults the Geist, getting another kill. Holiday just respawned and is coming back from spawn. Mo's getting picked off. Surely someone is there to help, like the Wraith. But she goes for bridge buff. So what you're saying is, well, one of the biggest fights of the match is happening. You go for bridge buff. You have ult. You're Wraith. You're hyper carry. You have 38k souls with Leech. I think bridge buff is a little bit of a throw. It is a 3v2 right now because Holiday's still in spawn. Why are we getting the bridge buff? I'm sure you can make the argument that the fight is already over, but if it's already lost, why not try and fight it to get a pick so they don't have enough damage for mid-boss? Anyways, Loki W clean up Mo Paradox, and they take mid, delivering another urn, putting them ahead by 20k souls. There's still 20 minutes left of the match, but most of it is just standard deadlock when you're up 20k souls. I would highly recommend going and watch the original video with the rest of the series and the grand finals. This Wednesday is another great, there's another night shift. I'll probably make another video on the best matches from that as well. Hope you enjoy.